Hey, welcome to That Photo Thing. My name's Tommy, and today I hope you get the point of this really easy exercise that we're going to do this video, and it's on point composition. Now, what point composition is it's essentially a uniformed image, and somewhere in that uniformed image we have placed an object that the viewer's eye is going to go right to it when they look at the image. So this could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a circle or it's like an exact point, but it can be anything that the viewer's eye is going to go right to that image because everything else is kind of the same repetition pattern. So that's pretty much the whole thing that we're going to do for this particular video. So I'll show a few examples of what point composition is, just to help you get an idea of what we're doing, and we're gonna go out there and try it out. So the first thing is this picture of a millipede. What I was doing is I was just digging in the backyard and my shovel was going smoothly down the sand, and at this one particular point I went right past a millipede who's all coiled up inside the sand. So this is a vertical shot, and I had to basically kind of lay down in the dirt really close to this picture, and I lined the millipede up into the rule of thirds corner of the image. So essentially, if you look at an image and you look at three sections of it, this point is on that far right section. And obviously on a tan uniform sand background, there's some things in it, but for the most part it's just sand, right? And it's kind of cool to then see this bright red spiral of a millipede in the corner of this image. Like I said before though, it doesn't necessarily have to be a circle, it just has to be a strong element in your image that makes a point. So for example, here's this photo I took of a bird on a fence, and originally I was going for just the shape composition, so all the little rectangles that are going around on this fence I thought was really neat, and nice cool repetition pattern to get that kind of thing going. And here's an example of a point. He's right in the middle of the shot. You know, he's a little bit high in the shot, but for the most part right in the center. So you look at these squares and you see this bird just boom right there in the shot. This would be a nice example of point composition where there's not a circle point. The bird is the point in this shot. Next up is a textured picture. I have one of alligator tail here. What's interesting about this particular alligator is it was almost 9 feet and just sunning himself on a kind of cold day in the wintertime here. And so I was able to get pretty close to him and obviously use a nice good zoom lens and get pretty close to him. So I started playing, after I got the initial pictures of his face and things, I started just playing around with some composition, and I found this little piece of duckweed on the back of his tail. So you see these nice repetition squares in his like strong crackling skin there. So that's really cool texture, but it's very has a lot of repeating patterns to it other than that bar on top. And so I decided to kind of add the point composition element by having this duckweed singled out in the shot as a nice bright object of the shot. So you get all this blue and gray, and then all of a sudden, boom, green. So, and finally, my last example is this picture of my friend's dog. I originally was just going to go for a normal face picture. However, this dog is just a little puppy, so he's very energetic, bouncing all over the place, and it's hard to have him sit still for more than a couple seconds. So I decided, instead of just kind of wrestling with the dog looking at me and the camera, just let him look wherever was more interesting to him at the moment, and took a picture with the point composition in mind by having this nice oval shape of the dog's eye just off to the rule of thirds here. And so it's on this already white textured background, and then immediately you just see the bright blue of the eye and the shape of the eye and everything else, and just kind of expands from there. So the viewer's eye will immediately be drawn to the dog's eye, before it looks at the fur and everything else in the image. So that's it. I mean, this is as short of a video as I can make on point composition. I feel like this is kind of such a self-explanatory video that it's one of those, you know, you kind of understand, you kind of can see what's going on here. And this is kind of how most of the basic episodes that we're doing in the beginning here are going along. It's just, you know, me just talking about them and showing a few examples. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. So now the next opportunity is we're gonna go out and do that photo thing. And what that photo thing is I challenge you, the viewer, to go out and do that photo thing that we just talked about. So what today's episode is on point composition. And so we're just looking for any kind of object that seems like a nice uniform thing, and you can manipulate that scene as much as you like. You don't necessarily have to, you know, I did a lot of wildlife examples in this one, but you don't necessarily have to do wildlife. You can have a cool textured thing and then just put something in the middle that'll actually draw the viewer's eye to that point of the photo and can create a photo that way. You could find something like, say you're flying a drone, and as you're flying a drone you see this one lonely tree in the middle of a field. That's a perfect point example point. You just got the top of that tree there. It's perfect. So you can do any kind of thing like that. Just remember to keep your eyes open, keep your mind open to the fact that the whole goal of this exercise is to isolate something in a scene. So if you like what you've created, please join our community and post it up on Instagram, and then put the hashtag that I have here. It's called That Photo Thing Challenge. And also, if you'd like to see some of my own work, including some of these examples that I showed on this video, please follow my Instagram. I'll place it right here. It's Danger and Focus with 2 underscores in the name. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this relatively short episode, and now let's go out and do that photo thing. Also, this one's so short that I had to do it I kind of challenged myself to do it in one take. So tell me how I did. Tell me if I messed up a whole lot. I'm just starting to get kind of used to talking to the camera, which is one of the reasons also why we're doing a lot of the intro levels, because it's kind of an intro for myself to even talk about some of the subjects that I'm really passionate about. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you like and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be posting a lot more, and we're going to progressively get more challenging as we go along, including fun projects that may or may not require more than just your phone to take pictures. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Bye.